£1,000. In today's world, that's less than the cost of a brand new iPhone, a designer handbag, or even a holiday abroad. But could it really buy you a car in the UK in 2025? A machine that can carry you, your mates, and your shopping from A to B? In this video, we're digging into the reality of Britain's bargain car market. The cars that have survived scrappage schemes, soaring insurance costs, and years of abuse on the road. Some are trusty old survivors. Others are disasters waiting to happen. So buckle up, because what you'll see for £1,000 in the UK might just surprise you. The truth is, the cheap car market isn't what it used to be. A decade ago, £1,000 could fetch you a fairly tidy hatchback, with a few years of life left. Today, with inflation driving up prices and used car demand at an all-time high, £1,000 barely scratches the surface. Most cars at this price point are old, tired, and covered in hundreds of thousands of miles. You'll find vehicles that have been passed through multiple owners, with patchy service history and warning lights that flicker like a Christmas tree. But for the determined buyer, £1,000 is still enough to get something with 4 wheels, an MOT, and the faint promise of reliability. When you browse Facebook Marketplace, AutoTrader, or Gumtree, certain cars appear again and again in the £1,000 bracket. The Ford Fiesta and Focus dominate, thanks to their popularity in the UK and abundance of cheap parts. The Vauxhall Corsa is another staple, often serving as the first car for new drivers. Volkswagen Polos show up too, though usually with high mileage, while Peugeots like the 206 and 207 are common, affordable, but sometimes plagued with electrical gremlins. If you're really lucky, you might stumble on a Toyota Yaris or Honda Civic, known for their bulletproof reliability, though they're rare finds under £1,000. These models are the workhorses of Britain's cheap car scene, familiar, unglamorous, but often surprisingly dependable. So, what can you realistically expect when handing over your grand? Most of these cars will sit between 12 and 20 years old, often from the mid-2000s to early 2010s. Mileage usually hovers around 120,000 to 160,000 miles, with interiors showing the scars of years of daily use. Don't expect touchscreens, adaptive cruise control, or heated seats. Instead, you'll find fabric seats, manual gearboxes, and the occasional CD player. If you're lucky, you might get Bluetooth, but more often than not, you'll be reaching for an AUX cable. At this price point, luxury takes a back seat, but function and utility are still on the table. Of course, among the rust buckets and high-mileage survivors, there are diamonds in the rough. Every so often, you'll stumble across a one-owner car, carefully maintained by someone's granddad, who's now giving up driving. These cars often have full service history, low mileage, and a surprisingly clean interior. Japanese brands like Honda and Toyota shine brightest here. A 20-year-old Civic or Yaris might have more life left than a 10-year-old Peugeot. Even less loved cars like the Skoda Fabia or Honda Jazz can be absolute bargains, offering reliability and practicality that far outweigh their low price tags. For buyers with patience and luck, these hidden gems make the £1,000 gamble worth it. But let's not sugarcoat it. The £1,000 market is filled with traps. Cars at this price point often come with looming MOT failures, from rusted-out sills to dodgy suspension. Engines may burn oil, clutches may slip, and gearboxes may grind. Electrical problems are common too, especially in older French models. And then there's the cost of keeping these cars on the road. One major repair could cost more than the car itself. Insurance can also sting. For young drivers, premiums can easily exceed the vehicle's value. In short, £1,000 can buy you freedom, but it can also buy you a money pit on wheels. So who does the £1,000 car market really serve? For first-time drivers, it's a gateway into motoring, a cheap way to get practice before moving up to something newer. For people needing a temporary runaround, it can be a lifesaver, especially in rural areas where public transport is unreliable. DIY enthusiasts who enjoy tinkering will also find value, as these cars offer endless opportunities to get your hands dirty without risking a fortune. But if you're someone who needs a hassle-free, reliable daily driver, a £1,000 car may not be the best option. It's a market built for risk takers, not comfort seekers. At the end of the day, £1,000 in the UK car market of 2025 buys you a gamble. On one end, you might get a faithful little hatchback that runs for years with nothing more than oil changes. On the other, you could end up with a rusted-out nightmare that fails its MOT the following week. The key is knowing what to look for, checking the paperwork, and never letting excitement override common sense. For some, that gamble is part of the fun. For others, it's not worth the stress. So, would you take the risk on a £1,000 car in 2025? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the real UK car market.